Chapter 3, Section 5, Primary Data Collection, Part 3, Direct Observation. In this section, you will learn direct observation as a method to collect primary data, what types of direct observation there are, how to design direct observations, and advantages of direct observations in machine learning. Direct observation is a data collection method in which the researcher observes events, behaviors, and phenomena in natural settings without intervention or manipulation. Direct observation aims to collect unbiased real-time data reflecting actual conditions. This method can capture context in real-world situations that other data collection methods cannot. In the context of machine learning, we can use direct observation to collect data that may be difficult to capture through surveys, experiments, or secondary sources. Direct observation can be categorized along two axes, whether or not the researcher is a part of the environment, and whether or not the observation is structured. Combining these two axes, direct observation can be classified into four types. Depending on whether the researcher is a member of the environment or not, direct observation can be classified into participating and non-participating observation. In a participant observation, the researcher becomes a member of the group or environment under study. This participation allows the researcher to gain an insider's perspective and collect data from that context. For example, the researcher may work in a factory to understand the production process. When using this method, the researcher must balance the roles of participant and observer to maintain objectivity and minimize bias. Non-participant observation involves the researcher observing from a distance without involvement with the subject or the environment. This type of observation collects data in a way that minimizes the observer's impact on the subject. For example, the researcher may use video recordings to observe customer behavior in a store. Non-participant observation is useful when the observer's presence may change the subject's behavior. Next, let's look at the difference between structured and unstructured observations. Structured observation is a method of observing and recording specific behaviors or events using a predefined framework or checklist. This method allows for consistency in data collection and a comparison of results across various situations and periods. For example, a researcher can use a checklist to observe and record specific behaviors such as members' comments at a meeting. Unstructured observation is a method that does not have a predetermined framework and allows the researcher to freely observe and record what they deem relevant to the research objectives. This approach is more flexible and exploratory and therefore useful when it is not clear what information is necessary. However, unstructured observation can be more difficult to analyze because the data collected is not in a standardized format. Direct observation has several advantages as a primary data collection method. The first is immediacy. Direct observation enables researchers to collect real-time data. This immediacy reduces the risk of recall bias and inaccuracies that sometimes occur in data collection through questionnaires or interviews. The second is the contextual understanding. By observing behaviors and events in their natural settings, researchers can deeply understand the context in the environment. The third is the breadth of data. Direct observation can obtain a variety of data, including nonverbal cues, historical factors, etc. This breadth of data is especially valuable in exploratory studies. The fourth is flexibility. In direct observation, researchers can adapt to unexpected events and behaviors. Such flexibility is especially useful in data collection in dynamic situations. While direct observation has its advantages, it has several challenges. The first is observer bias. The observer may unconsciously focus on specific actions or events while overlooking others. This leads to an incomplete or distorted understanding of the phenomenon. Assigning multiple observers can alleviate this problem. The second is intrusiveness. Direct observation changes the subject's behavior, especially when the subject is aware that he or she is being observed. Besides, the fact of being observed can cause social desirability bias, impression management, etc. The third is resource intensiveness. Observation requires time and resources, and is particularly resource intensive for surveys conducted over a long period or across multiple locations. The fourth is the complexity in data analysis. Data obtained from direct observation are often unstructured or qualitative, and therefore is difficult for analysis. Researchers must carefully code and interpret data to ensure that the analysis is objective and meaningful. This section describes surveys and questionnaires, experiments, and direct observation as the popular methods for primary data collection. Surveys and questionnaires allow for the collection of specific information directly from respondents in a flexible and customized way. Experiments enable researchers to investigate causal relationships by collecting data under controlled conditions. Direct observation is valuable because it collects real-time data, including contextual information. We must determine what data are needed and what methods of data collection are appropriate based on our research objective. Thank you for watching. Please thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.